When Hyundai unveiled its billion-dollar plan to invest in the United States, it was hailed as a masterstroke of corporate diplomacy. The company had promised thousands of jobs, sleek new electric vehicles, and a modern factory in Georgia that would symbolize a new era of industrial cooperation. For Washington, it was the perfect headline, a foreign automaker embracing the Made in America dream. And for Hyundai, it was a strategic move, aligning with Donald Trump's nationalist economic agenda to secure influence, visibility, and protection in the world's most powerful market. At campaign rallies, Trump often pointed to companies like Hyundai as proof that his policies were working. He would say, "They're coming back. They're building in America again." Behind the scenes, Hyundai executives cultivated a relationship with Trump's circle, attending events, making donations, and publicly pledging to invest over $10 billion in U.S. manufacturing and EV technology. The partnership appeared symbiotic. Trump wanted foreign investment to validate his political message, and Hyundai wanted access and goodwill. The Meta plant, Hyundai's crown jewel project in Elabel, Georgia, became a symbol of that alliance. It was designed to be one of the largest electric vehicle and battery production sites in North America, a futuristic campus that would employ more than 8,000 workers once completed. Local officials celebrated. State governments offered tax breaks. Everything looked like a perfect marriage of power, politics, and profit. Then came the raid. In early September 2025, federal immigration agents swarmed the Hyundai Meta plant. They detained nearly 500 workers, many of them foreign technicians from South Korea who had been flown in to help assemble the complex machinery for EV battery lines. Eyewitnesses described a scene that looked more like a criminal bust than a labor inspection. Buses, handcuffs, flashing lights, and dozens of confused engineers lined up outside the factory gates. The images spread across global news outlets within hours. Workers were shown restrained at the wrists, waists, and ankles. Some had been living in temporary housing for months, far from their families, working 12-hour shifts to meet construction deadlines. The symbolism was brutal. A company that invested billions in America now being treated like an offender on its own soil. Authorities said the operation targeted visa fraud and labor law violations. Many of the detained technicians had entered the country on short-term business visas, a common practice during large-scale plant construction, but one that sits in a legal gray area. In most cases, these technical experts work under supervision, train local staff, and return home. But this time, the federal government decided to make an example. It was the largest workplace raid involving a foreign corporation in recent memory. Seoul was furious. The South Korean government condemned the operation as disrespectful and excessive, demanding the immediate release of its citizens. Diplomats in Washington scrambled to manage the fallout, warning that the raid could damage one of the most valuable foreign investment relationships in the United States. For South Korea, it wasn't just about Hyundai. It was about national pride and the safety of their people abroad. Meanwhile, the White House offered mixed signals. Trump initially criticized the factory for bringing in too many foreign workers, hinting that American jobs were being replaced. But within days, his tone shifted. He praised Hyundai's investments and suggested that temporary specialists were sometimes necessary for advanced production. The contradiction revealed a deeper truth. In Trump's world, the political narrative mattered more than consistency. For Hyundai, the raid was a shockwave. The company had done everything by the book, from corporate donations to public pledges, from patriotic speeches to massive U.S. investments. Yet the federal government it tried so hard to impress had just humiliated it on live television. Executives scrambled to reassure investors and workers, insisting that the company had followed all legal procedures and that misunderstandings were being resolved. But the damage was done. Trust, once shaken, is hard to restore. Analysts called it a moment of corporate awakening. It exposed a harsh reality. In the American political landscape, loyalty and money don't guarantee immunity. Even billion-dollar allies can become targets if the optics serve a broader narrative. Immigration enforcement isn't just about law. It's also about image and sometimes control. For Trump's administration, showing toughness on borders and foreign labor played well with his base, regardless of who got caught in the crossfire. Yet, in a twist that surprised many, Hyundai refused to retreat. Just weeks after the raid, the company announced a $2.7 billion expansion of the same Georgia plant, adding new battery lines and 3,000 more jobs. It was a statement of defiance, or perhaps an attempt to repair its relationship with U.S. authorities through continued investment. Either way, it sent a message. Hyundai was in America to stay, no matter the cost. Still, the global business community took note. If a company as large and politically connected as Hyundai could face this kind of treatment, what did it mean for others? For investors from Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, the incident was a reminder that the U.S. market, for all its opportunities, operates under shifting political winds. Today's ally can become tomorrow's scapegoat. The raid also reignited debate over America's complex immigration and labor systems. Corporations argue that skilled foreign technicians are essential for building advanced factories and training local teams. Critics counter that these same loopholes displace American workers and exploit foreign ones. Both sides agree on one thing: the system is broken, and companies like Hyundai are caught in the middle. Beyond the policy and politics, there's a more subtle undercurrent: the question of power. Hyundai believed that investment bought security, that contributing to U.S. jobs and politics ensured stability. But the raid proved otherwise. In the hierarchy of power, the state always wins. Money opens doors, but sovereignty decides when they close. In a way, this story is bigger than Hyundai. It's a portrait of how global capitalism and national politics constantly collide. Corporations operate on promises and balance sheets. Governments operate on narratives and control. When their interests align, progress happens. When they clash, even billion-dollar factories can become battlegrounds. So, what lies behind the billions? It's not just investment or opportunity. It's the unspoken tension between influence and dependence. Hyundai's gamble was to play by every rule, to please every side. But in the end, the rules themselves changed. And that, perhaps, is the true cost of doing business in a world where politics has replaced predictability. Because in the age of power and perception, even the most loyal investors can become the next headline. And for Hyundai, once celebrated as a model partner, the lesson is painfully clear. In America, no amount of money guarantees protection when the blue lights flash at your door.